Today's episode is different because we are joined by a special guest. He has spent many years in the IT world and brings a wealth of information and expertise. He is also the host of a phenomenal podcast called IT Horror Stories. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Jack Smith. Welcome, Jack. I'm so glad to have you here today. It's just wonderful.
Hey, very happy to be here, although being it virtual, always happy to share my knowledge and specifically my opinion on everything.
Absolutely. Well, Jack, let me first start by thanking you for taking the time to be with us today. And I'm excited, and I know the audience is excited to hear what you have to share with us.
All right. Well, as I said, happy to share my information knowledge and indeed 20 years fixing and doing things with computers and security and even printers. I've done it all. So let's go.
We live in a world where the most powerful technology ever built is being handed to you without instructions, without warnings, and without anyone asking whether it serves you or uses you. That question has a name: the virtuous machine. I'm Michael Ruthier, and this is Tech for Grownups, the show that believes technology should answer to human beings, not the other way around. This is the show the tech industry doesn't want you to hear. No corporate talking points, no sponsored opinions, just honest conversation. Let's go. Now, Jack, I think combined, you have spent 30 years in IT. And I think a lot of people hear that and picture someone in a server room. What I would like for you to tell the audience is who you actually are and what those 30 years really looked like on the ground.
Oh dear, Michael, that's very good. Well, I don't want to make this episode last 3 hours. So I'm gonna be brief here. So yeah, I've started in the late 90s in what they then just called IT, as everything with a power plug. My to give it some background, my first job was installing Windows 95 on desktop machines. That was my actual first job. So yes, I have the gray hair and the gray beard, though very stylized, and my barber is jealous for my the hair on my head and the beard on my chin. So and as you said, with hanging around in server rooms, I've done that. I've been in multiple thousand feet refrigerated rooms all by myself with those aisles and aisles and aisles of cabinets. Been there, done that. Way too cold. In the end, you find yourself huddling at the back of a few machines where the warm air comes out just to barely survive. And I've moved on from that. In the last 15, 20 years, I've been more going into what they call project management. So I do boring things such as budgets and scheduling, but I also have to make sure that things get done. I manage what gets done, when it gets done, and because of my technical background, I can also tell when people are, telling me something that is not really correct, and I can fix that.
Bingo. Bingo. So you've been in the trenches. You have the experience and the knowledge to understand and um you know delegate properly, but also understand
Indeed.
when something's not correct.
Indeed, I have literally been up on the rooftops in Paris to down to mining pits in Texas. I've been everything in between.
That's, so this is absolutely amazing, and I thank you for sharing that because my next question is: at some point in those 30 years, now
Hmm.
you decided to build your own website, and I
Yes,
want you to tell us what happened when you did that because I understand the internet found you pretty quickly, but not in a good way.
yeah, indeed. I was starting with some people starting up a new company, well, company exhibit. We started the website announcing our services, where we do security checks for real estate buildings in bigger cities. It's always outsourced, and there's many questions, and we have the answers. We've been doing this for, as we said, 20 years. So we put up the website, and you also create a new phone number that you put in there because you want your potential customers to reach you. And that's what you do. And that number was online for 4 or 5 days, and suddenly the phone starts ringing. And okay, well, that's quick. Like, yeah, we got a customer, and you pick it up, and it is the dreaded robocall. And usually, well, they're in English, and we found out that it is in local language. So we are in Western Europe. We are a region where we speak 4 languages, and it was completely localized with using local banks, using local payment systems to say, hey, to validate your 8,000 euro transfer, please press 9 or please hold for an operator. 4 days after we published the number, it was incredible.
Mm, 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 mm. So just to be clear for the audience, you hadn't even promoted the site yet, and the calls started coming
Zero.
in.
Absolutely zero. I think I just added the website to the Google search tracker, and that was it. We didn't even publish. Maybe we did a small announcement like, hey, we started a new company, and shared it on our LinkedIn and our personal Facebooks just to get some likes for the page in, and that was it. We didn't run any specific ad campaigns or similar.
So,
Zero.
wow. So you said in about 4 or 5 days. So that's about how fast it happened. How many, if you had to put a number on it, because I want the audience to hear this, of how quick and how
Mhm.
aggressive this is. How many calls do you think in that short amount of time happened?
We have one every few days. I just had one this morning.
Oh my. They don't give up, do they?
No, 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 no. Once your number is on the list, then well, those number lists, they get spread around, and everyone that has a go at the list will call you.
Wow. And this is, I'm glad that you said that, because we're going to touch more on that in a minute, because I think people need to understand how that works. Now, in your experience, what are the scams and digital threats that are working best right now against people in the 55 and over age group, and why is this age group being specifically targeted in your opinion?
It's a bit of, I'm gonna go for the why answer first,
Gotcha.
as I'm just on the edge of that generation. I'm a bit younger, but not that much. So I'm going back to the old gray beard here. Uh,
You and me both.
well, there we go. Um, so the why is, it's a generation literally on the edge, as in we are on the border between the offline world and the online world. We've been in both,
Mm,
and we've grown up in the offline world, and we need to adapt to the online one, and that is what, we are not really super comfortable in it. It's all a bit not what we're used to,
mm,
and therefore, yeah, we are not, well, I am, but not everybody, and I do understand that, and I'm not blaming anyone for it. Might not be as savvy on what the actual dangers might be, and will say, well, no, oh no, but this person sounded credible, because in the offline world, when you see a salesman face to face, you can read his face, you can read his reactions. On the
correct.
phone, you can't, but he sounded good,
Mm.
and that's the danger.
Correct. Correct. And actually it's funny that you said that, because that leads into my next question with all of this. It's, let's talk about voice cloning specifically. And you
Yeah.
you just touched on that, because this is the one that terrifies me the
Hmm.
most for my audience. And we're at a point now where a criminal can clone your child's voice within 3 seconds of audio from a social media video and call that child's grandmother saying that they're in trouble. So,
Hmm.
how real is this threat right now, and how local has it gotten?
The threat is very real. If you look at your Facebook profile, if you just put out a video saying like, "Hi, I'm at this festival. I'm doing this and this and this. Hi, like and subscribe, whatever you want to do for your TikTok, Instagram, Facebook post, whatever."
Hmm.
And in there you will have your family relations. Like, this is my mom, this is my grandma, and so the people with bad intentions, they find the names. You can easily find the phone number, or just try it. Find somebody with the same name. they have your voice, they can simulate it, and then say like, and then they will have an automated system. It's not a real person. Just call mom or grandma or mother-in-law, whoever. Say, hey, I'm stuck at this festival. I need $500. I'm stuck. Please help me.
Right.
Sounds
Right.
sounds very believable and really takes under a minute of effort. It's even fully automated. There is zero human interaction anymore in this.
Wow. Even the criminals are automating their process.
Yes, of course.
Bunch of laid off criminals. They're looking for work too. It's
Well,
ridiculous.
actually, scamming people is their full-time job. So
True.
they're from their point of view, that's their job.
True. This is true. No, and you touched on that because sometimes I have had to tell people when people don't understand that some of these outfits, these organizations are actually organized crime. That
Some of them absolutely are. Yes.
Yeah, and they have a lot of backing. They have a lot of financial backing to them. So that's why we, you, me, and everybody else that is involved in this has to spread the word, has to, not just educate, but empower people, because I think that's one of the things that's missing is empowerment. People get
Hmm.
that when if they get scammed, then all hope is lost, right? But the one thing that you mentioned is the scammers are becoming more local. And can you
Yes.
explain what that means?
So in the beginning, when faxes ran on steam power, you would have your scam call come in, and you knew it was somebody from India. That is the cliche.
Right, right,
You would have the English accent that people in the region have, and you could recognize them just really easy. Oh, this is a scam call, and you would hang up.
correct, correct.
What I've noticed here myself is that it's local people calling, actual people, not humans, not an AI system, actual local people which are hired to do the scams. So they will talk to you in French, in Dutch, in German, in Italian, in Spanish, well, for the US market,
Right.
and then over there, logical. But it's getting localized. I am getting calls in French. I am getting calls in Dutch. I am getting calls in German because they just throw it out there.
Wow. Wow. And I'm glad you're saying this because the one thing too, and for everybody listening, Jack is in Europe, so it
Mhm.
helps to get that perspective. Most of everything I speak about here is both Europe but and North America, but primarily North America. But the one thing too, I asked you that, Jack, was because I think most people still pictured these crimes as happening overseas, far away from
Mhm.
their neighborhood. But now, like you said, these people are hiring locals. And the sad part about that is with the way the job market is, the economy is, these people are taking these jobs, doing nefarious things, but they're local, and you can't tell the difference because it sounds like the guy down the street.
Absolutely, and it actually could be the guy down your street. When somebody gets hired to do this, they will get some software on their laptop. They just sit at home and they get a notification. Hey, we have somebody that pressed one to talk to an operator, and then you have a script in front of you, and they are trained. They do some some mock calls, some test calls to see if they can actually sound convincing, and then just go for it.
Amazing. The sad part about this is, for everybody that's listened to the show for some time, I talk a lot about philosophy and stoicism, mostly. And it's a shame that that talent is wasted in something like
Mhm.
this. They could be doing something good for the world or for the community, but rather so they're trying to scam your mother, my mother, our listeners, whoever. They're trying to get them for what they worked so hard for. And it really is disheartening.
No, no, absolutely. They have promised a percentage of whatever they can get from mom, grandma, neighbor, whatever, and
Correct.
it's all the quick win. And of course, they're in the age bracket that these people sadly are in. It's all consume now, buy now, pay later. They have a big need for actual cash, and every way to get it is good. And it's a work at home job. You do it a few hours in the evening. You sign in on the global phone system, and you get a call, and if you scam someone, you can get a few $100. Everybody
un,
win from
un,
their point of view.
and the sad part about it is they don't understand. Marcus Aurelius had said before, if a bee is injured, the entire hive is injured, and they don't understand the ramifications of just scamming this one person, how that does to the entire community and moving forward, right? It catches up. It catches up to all of us because, before we have spoken, and I want you to touch on that for a moment. Let's talk about that for a minute. What I find, and I was dumbfounded when you had told me about this, that now the banks are being held liable for the scams because the pensioner is losing 5,000, 10,000 pounds or euros.
Hmm.
Now the banks are being held responsible. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. Now, this is a very, very recent local case. So it's not going to be a Europe-wide or global-wide, but it is a precedent in the legal system that will
Mm,
be looked at. So the easy way out for a bank was to say to people, well, you got scammed, you were stupid, it's your fault,
correct.
and by goes the money.
Mm,
And there has been now a legal judgment. Looking for my words here to my language barrier.
that's
Sorry.
fine. Take your
So,
time. No rush.
oh, I'm taking all the time I want. No. So, and there has been now a court case ruling where actually the bank can no longer just claim that you were stupid.
Mm,
It is the bank has to actually prove that you were stupid.
wow.
Plus, they will you as a victim, they will have walked you through going to the website, taking your going to your bank account on your screen, opening up your phone, type in your PIN number, doing your multi-platform authentication, whichever is built in, and the bank will have to prove that they've done everything to ensure the victim, like, hey, watch out for this, and then if the victim still continues, yes, 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 then maybe, and then you can call them stupid. But the
Mm,
automatic declaration of it's the victim's fault
hmm.
in this case no longer applies, which is good.
Yes.
Of course, should it be that there was indeed terrible neglect from the victim, then the bank can still recuperate the funds later, but initially say that 10,000 euros, $10,000 vanishes from the savings account with this, that the bank has to repay this initially, and
Mm,
then after an investigation, might still retrieve it back if there was indeed some serious neglect to
right.
be found.
Right.
Again, this is my interpretation of it. I am not a lawyer, but I am not angry about this judgment.
No, no, and I was actually elated about it because the thing is that these financial institutions, they put out, let's just talk for the audience here, because a lot of you are 55 and over, and some of you are in your 60s and 70s. Your banks have now forced you, and they have forced you to use online banking. So that's created this whole, how can I say, a conundrum of you're trying to tell somebody to use something that you haven't taught them to use. Now, I do understand in some areas, in some locations, that some branches allow the customer to come in and receive training on how to use that app, and I applaud that. But generally, they do not do that. It's basically, here you are, you're on your own, and good luck with that. And I think that creates not only confusion, but it creates a vulnerability for these scammers to say, hey, I'm calling from the bank. This is what's happening. This is what I need you to do. So, with the bank being held responsible for this, I feel, and this is my opinion, which is worth 2 cents, I feel that the banks are going to start taking more proactive steps to protect their customers from this.
Indeed. Um, and then, well, sadly, the people with bad intentions are adapting to this, because what they will do now is they will send people over to your house because something happened to your card, to your debit card, your credit card. Oh, we'll come and pick up your credit card. Can you please verify your PIN code for us? And they
Wow.
send someone over, they take the card, they go to the closest ATM, they just empty the cards, and that's it. So you
Wow.
don't, they don't need your computer even anymore. They said, oh yeah, we've so hi Mrs. Jackson, this is your bank. We have found out that there's a fraud on your card. Can you verify that this is your address? Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. We'll send someone over to collect your cards right away. Somebody shows up in an actual police uniform and
Wow.
takes your card, and you've said, oh, can you please, to make sure that these are your cards, tell us what your PIN number is? Oh, yes, it's 1234. Yes, that is correct according to our database. They don't know, but they've written down your PIN code, and you have given them your cards, your PIN code, and 5 minutes later they go to the nearest ATM and they just drain the funds. There's actually, I believe, the Dutch police have a website where they post pictures of these card collectors at ATMs asking, can you identify this person involved in these ATM scams where they go and pick up cards and just empty the account in minutes. And you can say, hey, I know this person, I don't know this person. They're really asking you to identify these culprits.
That is bold. I'm sorry, but in North America, it hasn't happened yet. But I'm wow, wow. So the moral of the story here, folks, is if someone comes to your door, and this is for our European listeners, and I hope you're listening and taking notes. If someone in a police uniform comes to your door, the first thing I would do is I would call the police department
Mm-hmm.
and say, is this one of your officers? Here he is, blah, blah, blah. And
Indeed.
at that point, you and I both know, Jack, that this person's gonna leave because if you pick up the phone, you're calling, the police. They don't want to be sticking around if someone shows up.
Oh, there is one good identifier. Police officers don't wear sneakers.
Really?
Yeah. Look at the shoe.
I like
Do the
this.
shoes match the uniform? Police officers don't wear sneakers.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. See, so if you guys are listening, police officers do not wear sneakers in most cases, but now they'll probably hear this and they'll change their shoes.
Sorry.
Unreal. No, it's amazing. Jack, thank you so much. Now, I'm going to ask you, Jack. I have to
Sure.
ask you this. So, in the 30 years of IT, you've
Yes.
seen things go wrong in ways that most people can't even imagine. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to share an IT horror story, something that happened to a real person that
Mm-hmm.
the audience can actually see themselves in. Walk us through it.
Okay. Let me see for because it's something that hasn't happened to me, so I'm going to skip the computer room fires because that's just me having misery. I'm just gonna skip that.
Gotcha.
No, I am going to something that actually happened with impersonating, and we weren't sure. It was at a huge multinational I was working on back then. I was doing some networks and cabling in warehouses and in breweries, so that will give you the sector. And we got a call from a person that claimed to be the CEO. So like, hi, I am the CEO. I have to do a presentation. I have lost my password. Can you please reset it?
Wow.
And that was from a phone number that nobody knew. Now, of course, nobody knows the CEO's home phone number. So that was a bit of it. So how do we know it's him? And
Mm,
we asked, logical question was asked, okay, so how can we prove the CEO? Well, no, it's me. I'm a CEO. I am your plus five in the hierarchical tree. And the out of the box thinking then from the local IT team was that one of the guys in the office that day, he did the road shows, so all the big presentations and all the big commercial things where the CEO would hold these demos and tell people about how good things were at the company.
mm.
And he asked him like, hey, you've seen our CEO privately so many times, would you have his home phone number? And then he said, of course I do. And
Wow.
they verified the number and it was correct.
Wow. Wow.
And of course, you can fake the number, but let's not try, because then those bad guys would need to have the CEO's home phone number, which even inside the company in the corporate address book was completely unlisted.
Mm,
Verify it is on this thing. There's a few basic security questions in IT. It's what you know, what you have, and what you are. So what you know is your password.
mm,
What you have is some kind of a phone that they can send a text message to, and what you are the biometric scanners. So you need at least two of those three to be valid, to be sure that it is that person. And quite often, many organizations are going to all three. So in this case, it's no who you are. He knew that he was the CEO, and that he knew his phone number.
mm.
And then the what you have was the link as well. So we validated this with some luck, but those are actual questions that IT companies today have, and the risk that they have.
Right. Wow. That is genuinely terrifying that someone was able to get a hold of the CEO's home phone number and spoof it.
Well, in the end, it was the actual CEO, so they didn't, which was
Oh,
good.
oh, so it was him. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yes, no, 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 no. It actually was him, but yeah, see, it sounds very convincing.
Yeah, it does.
It was, yeah.
Wow.
That kind of proves my point.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because people need to hear this, and okay. So let me ask you this question. I'm gonna follow
Sure.
up for you. Okay, so the number was validated through a person who knew the CEO because they've spent a lot of time with them.
Yes.
Um, what could and in this situation for anybody listening, especially because
Mhm.
this translates to our listeners. They're not CEOs of a tech company. They're normal people. But what could that person have done differently when they were questioning the validity of this as the CEO?
Well, the best thing to do in this case is, how are you doing, Mr. CEO? So and so and so. Let me call you back on the number that I have from you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you.
And then it's his number, and he should pick up the phone.
Wow. Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, spoof numbers sometimes can't receive calls.
Correct.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I just wanted to make sure because, again, we know so much. It just, some of it just falls out of your head.
No, no, absolutely. So you can fake a number making the call, but receiving calls on that fake number is a completely different territory, which is not so easy at all.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So I hope everyone hears this. If you receive a call from somebody of a number you recognize and you're questioning if they're legitimate, tell them you'll call them right back. And that will usually give you the answer that you're looking for. Uh,
Indeed, if your daughter or your niece calls in full panic, say, "Okay, I'm gonna call you back."
exactly.
That's what you do.
Exactly. No, beautiful. Excellent advice. Now, I'm going to ask you this. If someone in the audience, let's say a 60-year-old, 67-year-old woman who lives
Hmm.
alone and is reasonably comfortable with her phone,
Yes.
asked you, she asked you for the 2 or 3 things she could do starting tonight to meaningfully protect herself, what would you tell her? And it doesn't need to
Ooh.
be a 10-step plan, just two or
Oh,
three
no, no,
things.
no, no. No, it is, first of all, the if somebody calls you, so let's make a practical example. So so
Mhm,
so, so say her son calls and says, "Mom, I have an emergency. I need $500 to fix my car," something like that.
mhm.
Does that sound plausible?
It does.
Okay. So if it's usually when people with bad intentions call you, they will always tell you about an urgency.
Correct.
Well, my car broke down. I need money now. I am stuck on a festival. I need money now. Hi, this is your bank. Please approve your $3,000 transfer. They will always create the urgency.
Mm,
So when it's very, very urgent and they're just calling you on the phone, be cautious. Ask what's going on. Ask personal questions, because the bad people don't have all the details. Ask for the name of the dog or the cat. Um, Begin telling about Uncle Bob. They don't know that Uncle Bob doesn't exist.
I like that. Uncle Bob.
Things like that. And of course, when you're tech savvy, and I understand that you want to help your kids out, it is
Right.
a reflex, which and that is exactly it's on this caring reflex that we all have for our family members that is attempted to be exploited.
Correct.
So
Correct.
it is you have to be very, very, don't want to say careful or limiting, but you have to a bit of control your reflexes of automatically, I will fix this for you. No, you have to ask yourself, does this make sense to fix it? And is this an actual emergency?
Right. Right. And these are excellent points, and it's refreshing to hear this. Trust me. So because the one thing that psychology has, how can I say, found, there is that loophole, or that hole, basically, that people have that knee jerk reaction when there's something that is urgent and it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get time to think. It's a human reaction. I think that was a survival mechanism that's been ingrained in humans since the dawn of time. So,
Indeed.
you know,
Yes, you
that's
have you are running around in the woods and you hear something behind you. The question is it a bear or is it a cat? You don't know,
correct.
so you run.
Correct. Fight or flight, really.
Yeah, it
No,
is.
understood. So I'm gonna. My next question for you is this, and this is, and I'm sure the audience is gonna love this one because you've done this for so long, working in IT. What do most IT professionals assume people already know that they absolutely do not know, and that assumption ends up leaving people exposed?
I've I've mentioned this in a few other podcasts left and right. It's watch out what you share about yourself online, because people with bad intentions will pick up that info and build a file on you, or they will have today an AI system build a file on you, and they will know your family, your history. They will know the name of your dog from your Instagram or your Facebook post, or your TikTok movies. They have everything. There's plenty of examples where they will talk to a random person down the street, ask him for his name, and then there's an entire crew going out with all the search engines available to tell him, well, how's your mom, how's your sister, how's your dog doing, and it all matches up. It is you can limit to get to the correct person with a very few basic searches and questions. So don't give him that information. I have an active social media profile myself, but I am very wary what I put out there. And the one thing that I always come back to is, please do not post pictures and info about your children, because that is the primary hook that they will get all the info from.
Excellent. Excellent advice. I know you guys are listening. Take notes. Take notes. And
And
go ahead. Sorry,
I'm
Jack.
sorry, that also goes for your grandchildren,
Oh,
for the record. So
a-
watch out with them.
absolutely, absolutely. Because grandma and grandpa, definitely they take anything that involves their grandchildren very seriously. So
Yes.
that's a sweet spot. It's
Hmm.
sad, but that's where the vulnerability is. It's right there. We're gonna pivot here for a minute because you mentioned it just a moment ago, and let's talk about AI specifically, because
Sure.
the threat landscape has changed fundamentally. Deep
Hmm.
fakes, AI generated phishing emails that sound like they were written by someone who knows you, voice
Hmm.
cloning, fake videos. Now, Jack, from your perspective, what's the AI powered threat that most people aren't taking seriously enough right now?
I think for the audience here, you've mentioned it, is that can, AI today is perfectly capable to imitate someone's voice. They can, um, it is perfectly fine. Sorry, it is perfectly possible that you will receive a FaceTime call from an AI system that looks like your family. They have They've scavenged the pictures from the social media. They just throw that onto a model. They have the voice, they have the looks. It's automated. There is zero human interaction. The possibility of what AI can do today with personal information, voice, images, habits, it's ridiculous and it is beyond comprehension for our brain what can happen. And this is all automatic. They will have a few phone numbers, they will have a few names, and the system goes to work. And if they have somebody that says, press one to talk to an operator, they just go to the person in the home office, gets a beep on their laptop and says, "Hi, this is your bank speaking."
Mm. Hmm.
It's, well, the word I want to use but shouldn't use is ridiculous. It's ridiculous how good it has become.
No, I concur. It's mind blowing, and the sad part about that is that it's there's becoming the line between real and AI is getting blurred,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. It
Um,
becomes very difficult to differentiate between what's real and what's not. And the the reflex that many people have is, well, it looks okay, so we'll go with it. But if it now just looks okay, we've come to a point that it's usually not.
Correct. Wow. No, no, and thank you for sharing that, Jack, because that really I think it drives it home for a lot of people that are that could be on the fence if they receive one of these calls or FaceTime. Because like
Mm-hmm.
you said, and I think one of the things you said that really made me happy was asking those personal questions that only that person would know, like Uncle Bob, and there's no freaking Uncle Bob, right? So,
Exactly. It is. It is. It's a very old IT testing method. I'm going to go on a little technical tangent here.
mm,
Is that when we would prepare something, we would always put in one intentional small mistake, like a printer that would not print out of tray two.
uh,
And we would ask, "Hey, did you test the printers?" Yes, yes, all the printers are working. Also, the printer in the payment office. Yes, yes, everything works. Then we knew it hadn't been tested. This is the
wow.
same thing. The story from the blue M&Ms in the M&M bowl at at the concert riders, because if they found a blue M&M, they knew they hadn't read the documentation. Same thing as you go and put in something that is intentionally wrong, but the person on the other side does not.
Right, right. It that's good quality control,
If you know the movie Terminator 2,
right?
hmm, you will have the Terminator call the parents of the kid and ask why the dog is barking, and he gives the wrong name of the dog.
Yes, yes,
Exactly that.
yes. I remember that.
Exactly that.
This is gold. Thank you so much, Jack. No, but right now, here's the flip side. Here's the flip side, and I want to make sure that we give the audience the full picture. What do you believe can AI actually do for people who are 55 and over that is genuinely useful, genuinely protective, and or even genuinely life improving? Because I don't want this to just be a fear episode. Tell us,
Hmm.
tell us what's the good news.
I can tell you what I use it for personally, and I have started to call it my super Google. Like if I need info on something, I'll just say like, "Hey, summarize this for me." And instead of having to read through 7 pages of search results and then 5 articles behind it, it summarizes that for me. Of course, um, AI is the best intern in the world. It does a lot of work in a very short amount of time, but you have to double check everything it does. So don't take the result blindly
Hmm.
and go from there. Or say if you want to make some some greeting cards or birthday cards, I do it for the t-shirts for my podcast. It's like I don't ask it to make me a t-shirt. It's just like, no, give me 5 ideas on a T-shirt about the CEO calling, and it'll list 4 or 5 ideas. I can pick one, and then I will make that design. You can do the same for any birthday card, holiday card. Say hi, make me a specific card with this theme, and it will give you a few ideas. That is perfectly fine and perfectly usable.
Yes, I agree with that. I agree with that. And that's excellent advice. So basically, it's a helper, and
Yes.
I believe AI is a helper. But
Hmm.
the sad part about this is, and what people are being sold, especially by the companies, because it's all about making profits and revenue, that it's a replacement for things or people, and that's not true. It's a helper. It's here to help
It's a
us.
helper. The one problem is that today AI does not have any moral values. It's the
Correct.
people using it that still have to have the moral values, and not everybody has those.
Yeah, correct. And and it depends on who the operator is and what their morals
Exactly.
are,
Yes,
right?
it is. Yes,
So, Jack, I'm going to ask you one last question.
sure.
And every professional I speak with, I ask this in some form.
Hmm.
If you had one message for the adults in this community, people who didn't grow up with this technology, who are doing their very best to navigate a world that keeps changing underneath them,
Hmm.
what would that be?
I would say I understand it's extremely difficult to keep up. It's changing so fast around you. Everything is going so fast. You get new phone apps thrown at you every few weeks from your bank, from the government, from from the bus company. It's apps here, apps there, and it's very difficult to keep up. Like you really need the brain and the energy of a 15-year-old to be able to do this. Like even myself, I phase out when, oh look, there's a new train app. I just phase out. I can no longer do this. That's perfectly fine. It's okay. Don't force yourself to do this. And then if something goes wrong, that's fine. Don't blame yourself. No, if somebody with bad intentions come to you and they do get you, yes, it's annoying. It happens. There are sadly some bad consequences, but it's not your fault. You cannot help it. It goes so fast, and people really abuse all the little loopholes and tiny holes they find left and right, and they are so good in abusing it because they have the experience of abusing people, and you don't have the experience of being abused.
Wow. Jack, that is outstanding. Excellent advice. I couldn't have said it any better. Thank you so much. And I want to thank our listeners for listening, but I want to really thank you, Jack, for coming on here and sharing not only just your expertise, but also a lot of the information that you provided and gave was your knowledge of who you are. And it's amazing. Thank you so much for being a guest on today's episode.
Oh, very happy to share my knowledge and experience. That is a good thing that podcasting allows me to do, or for my own podcast as well, IT Horror Stories with Jack Smith, or just as a guest, just sharing my knowledge, info, personal opinion, and my natural charm, projecting it out.
And absolutely. And before we go, everyone, again, Jack Smith has his own phenomenal podcast. If you enjoyed today the stories that he shared and everything, it's called the show is called IT Horror Stories with Mr. Jack Smith. So, and Jack, can you find that? Can they find that on what platforms?
We are on all the major podcasting platforms, so Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Deezer, and everything that uses those as a source. We have a website, ithorrorstories.eu, EU for Europe, which is where we are located, and there we list all the platforms where you can find us. Social media, the usuals as well, although we focus a bit more on the tech ones. So that is Blue Sky, Mastodon, and LinkedIn. If you don't have those, there's also a Facebook and an Instagram. All the links are on our website. You don't need to jolt those down at the moment.
Beautiful. Well, here's the thing, everyone. Jack just gave you everything you need to know how to find him. But I strongly suggest that you go and check out his podcast, IT Horror Stories, because if you enjoyed today's show and even the brief story that he told us about the CEO, I know that there are some real whoppers on there, and you'll enjoy it even more. So,
I wanna abuse your audience for one more time if
sure,
I can,
sure,
Michael.
sure.
It is I need for my podcast, I need stories of the guys that were running everything in the 70s and the 80s because
Mm.
they are out there and they have the most wonderful stories. And I want to capture those as well.
Well, I think you came to the right audience. So everybody listening, because hey, I'm an '80s kid myself. So if you were working in the tech world, and I guess we would call it IT still back then, right? In the
Yeah.
'70s and the '80s, please make sure to reach out to Jack, because I think we all, even myself, I think we all need to hear these stories because these are the foundation. He said
Hmm.
something earlier that really resonated with me about the generation we are, and also those prior to us. It's the analog going into the digital, and that's very important. I think that's very important for us. We have to learn from history in order to know how to handle tomorrow, right? So, again, Jack, thank you so much for being on the show,
Pleasure.
and I wish you the best of luck, and especially with everything you're doing in the EU. Oh man, just keep doing what you're doing and keep making people happy. Thank you so much, and
We're doing
we will
that.
see you all in the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Marcus Aurelius asked a question that I think about every time I sit down to record this show. What is it fundamentally that this thing is for? Not what it claims to be for. What is it actually for? That's the virtuous machine question. And it applies to every piece of technology being built right now. The AI, the algorithms, the platforms, all of it. You'll find everything from today's episode at techforgrownups.com. Join the conversation in the community. The link is there. Stay sharp, stay loud, and I'll see you in the next one.